Our next project is to develop a low-power FM community radio station in Pine Mountain Club. We are seeking your donations for this very important community cultural expansion. Our FCC-assigned call letters are KCPK, which we call out as Kern County Peak Radio on the dial at 97.9. Low-power FM radio stations are community-based nonprofit outlets that broadcast to their own local neighborhoods. LPFM stations have a limited broadcast range of just a few miles, but their impact on communities can be immense. These non-commercial stations inject vibrancy into a community that only has large media radio to listen to. Local LPFM stations offer a platform for content and viewpoints that corporate media overlook. These stations foster community identity with shows geared to local events and interests. They also serve as hubs for vital safety information during emergencies. This emergency broadcast capability is one of the requirements for being granted an LPFM license.
When radio began in the early 1900s, its birth and growth was supported by local communities. People understood the importance of being able to send local content to each other, from newsworthy to community-building sharing of stories.
Our mission: to give our community members a voice, to strengthen our community with shared creativity, to provide an open forum for discussion and sharing of all ideas, information, and the vast range of talent which exists in our local community.
As the power of radio to sway minds and pocketbooks became evident to big corporations, a law was passed in 1938 which made it illegal to operate a low-power radio station. The concept of radio changed from individualized community content to how many people could a station reach and influence.
The possibilities for LPFM radio in our community is unlimited. Examples are: high school students can gain education in radio broadcasting. We can broadcast on-site for sports events. We can create programs with focus on senior citizen needs, teaching of various subjects, interviews of local agents and personalities, and original music by local musicians.
In 1943, the people took this demise of the community radio station to the Supreme Court, arguing that free speech was being denied. The Supreme Court ruled that the right of free speech does not include the right to use the facilities of radio. Only a few can be licensed, and the rest must be barred from the airwaves. They ruled that Congress has the power to grant and deny licenses and to eliminate existing stations.
What about doing art interviews, music concerts, weather information, swapping and trading programs, talk shows, and remote broadcasting from businesses which underwrite the radio shows?
By 1996, only 50 corporations owned 90% of all media in the U.S., including the radio stations. The number of voices on the airwaves grew even smaller with the Telecommunications Act of 1996. Today, only 6 corporations own 90% of all the media outlets in the U.S. After decades of lobbying and petitioning and grassroots activism, the Local Community Radio Act of 2010 was signed into law by President Barack Obama on January 4, 2011. A 2-week application window was opened in November 2013 for granting of construction permits for LPFM radio stations to again come back into our communities. There are those who argue that LPFM community radio is not effective, as it can only reach a small number of people. But all of these people are represented in our communities as the very people not given a voice through big corporate media-owned radio. We of the community are reclaiming our rights to free speech as it originally was represented by radio when it was first born and developed.
We have until August 2015 to build a station and apply for the broadcasting license. Our goal is to encourage interest and involvement with community radio as a catalyst for change. Please help us achieve this vision by donating funds to buy the necessary equipment to set up the station. And all this radio resource is available to our community for about $10,000 in setup costs for the equipment. For $10,000, we can offer free media to our community, with radio shows built by the community and supported by the community, thus being totally responsive to the community needs. Simple equipment ranging from several pieces to a few more pieces to get everything built and working on the air. The cons. We cannot broadcast more than 10 miles. So we propose an immediate second stage as soon as we obtain FCC broadcasting license to go to a website presence. We will eliminate these cons with various other ways to expand through other media processes, social media, YouTube video, etc. We ask that you give generously and help to bring this vision of LPFM radio to a reality for our community.